Welcome to the first 10 minutes of Celeste. I'm Master Conniff, and in this video series, I take an uninterrupted look at the first 10 minutes of a video game and then discuss my first impressions afterwards. No commentary, no pauses for the first 10 minutes. We'll unpack everything at the end, so stick around or skip ahead 10 minutes. Let's get started. that is Celeste. So I really love this game, and I don't really know when the last time I played a platformer was, to be honest. But this, I think, and I'll talk about it later in my overall thoughts, because as you know, we do a little bit of a live look where I go over the footage that you just watched, or if you're skipping ahead, you're watching for the first time, and then I talk about the, my overall thoughts of the game. So it's right here. We're gonna skip and do, instead of my first save, my second phase, because you can play the same parts over and over, if that makes sense. You go back and play the same stages, but so we're gonna do a new one, and we'll just take it away, shall we? Why am I so nervous? Because I know how this game is. No, I want to make a note of that. The game has a lot of that type of stuff that really seeks to help the player out. How rude. Silly rock. Thank you, bird. Yeah, this bird will appear pretty frequently at the beginning to kind of... I guess it's kind of like a character. There's not a ton of characters in this game. We're about to meet another one right now, actually. So I want to say right away, the text narration like this is a real throwback to like the days of Mega Man, Battle Network specifically. You know, Pokemon, whatever, just where text chat was text boxes with little sounds like this. And sometimes it was just that, I don't even know what you would call that, but like that ringing sound, like when you play Pokemon and you're just speed tapping A to get through all the text boxes that you've seen 1,000 times before. Yeah, so I mean that's kind of the text in this, and I really enjoy it. It's same as Hollow Knight. If you watched my Hollow Knight video or you've played Hollow Knight, similar concept. So this is our first sense of danger. Uh-oh. Once again, the bird is here to save the day. So right here, controls, you've seen how to jump, you've seen how to climb, and now you've learned how to dash. You can do this. No, but for real, that is the whole premise really is, or not the premise, but all the controls, everything that you need to know to succeed right there, taught right at the beginning of the game. And really you get to explore all of that as you play the game. And this is our first look at a true Celeste level. One I think I forgot to dash right here. But no, so one thing that every time I come back to this game is I have a hard time with the climbing. Now you saw a strawberry right there. I don't really talk about the strawberries so much in my thoughts because the strawberries are a collectible. They're not necessary to beat the game. They're not necessary for anything other. I think the game itself, it might have been that load screen at the beginning, or we might see it later on, but the game tells you that they're simply there to impress your friends. So right here you can see these signs I'm next to, no dash, and I think it's no, I don't know, this says no up, so I don't know what the point is, but the whole point was you weren't allowed to dash or that strawberry would fly away. There are a lot of areas like this where there'll be either side paths that you can take, and most of them lead to a strawberry of some kind. So not all of them are pertinent to moving forward in the level, but you know, they have their own secrets. And I'll talk about like the cassette tapes later on, but you kind of get the point. So momentum is a thing. That's what we're learning right here. When those platforms move up, if you jump at the height of it, you will get bounced higher up, or thrown up, I guess, the momentum, you know. It's physics. I never took physics in school, ever. These crystals, when you hit them, it resets your dash. So normally you can only dash once. I think I've died on that exact thing every single time I've ever played this exact frame. Anyway, so like I said, the little crystals, they reset your dash. If you dash, it normally does not reset until you land on solid ground. Ah, yes. So this is Theo as he's about to introduce himself. Theo is basically the other main character. There are a few others, and you'll find them as you play. But Theo is kind of the main, I guess, encouragement for Madeline in climbing this mountain that she's setting out to do so. Oh, and so something right here. Normally, so right there when it said B, you know, like the B popped up. I could, if I wanted to, leave. I don't think I have to talk to him. But if you really want to get more of the story, the backstory, just get the conversation, you can keep hitting B, keep hitting B, keep hitting B, and there's more information, more text, more conversation that's happening. So I really like that because it kind of leaves it up to your own pace. If you like that, if you want to know more, if you want to get more involved, then you are welcome to do so. So it makes it kind of fun. All right, as this kind of concludes, I think we should move on to my thoughts because there's a lot to unpack there. And right away, there's a bit about the mental illness aspect of this game that I would like to touch on. Celeste is a special game, not just because it's an impressively challenging platformer with smooth controls and a wide range of difficulty, but because it also contains a sobering narrative focused on the protagonist's mental health. Madeline is at war with herself, quite literally, as you will come to find while playing Celeste. Carefully interjected between moments of difficulty, the game not only uses the narrative as a method of understanding the protagonist we are playing, but also as a method of encouraging the player to keep climbing the mountain. Celeste's developer Matt Thorson stated in an article by Kotaku, "If you're making a game about anxiety and depression, it felt like to us that we needed to show the same kindness to the player that we would want to show ourselves." And yes, it may seem strange that a game that is as difficult as Celeste would be an avenue for self-encouragement, but I think that's exactly the point. It teaches you that failure is okay, and that if you just keep trying, you'll eventually succeed. Most revealing about Celeste's deep-rooted purpose, though, is that game developer Thorson was himself dealing with anxiety and depression as the game came to be created. I wanted to mention the serious side of Celeste before continuing my thoughts because to leave it as a footnote or mention it at the very end of the video would be a disservice. Also, I can't really go further into detail without spoiling the narrative, and again, I feel like that would be a disservice to the journey both Madeline and the player will travel on. If you are watching this video and you are in a certain negative place mentally, please seek out professional help. Celeste will help you understand what you're going through, and it may even help you come to terms with it. But there are professionals out there that can really help you journey towards self-worth and happiness. Celeste is a challenge. The difficulty ramps up significantly over the course of the game with several different areas on your climb up the mountain. Still, in an effort to allow players of all skill levels the full experience, the developers included an assist mode which can change some of the game's rules in order to make things easier. Here is an example of me playing around in one of the early stages with every assist enabled. And I gotta say, it doesn't make you feel like you cheated yourself by turning assist mode on. In fact, it eschews that way of thinking in the hopes that players of all skill types can enjoy it. Another key feature in making Celeste approachable is how quickly things reset when you perish. Instead of starting you out at the beginning of a stage, you'll be started at the beginning of a frame. This allows you to try a particular tough spot over and over again until you master it and can move on. I personally really enjoy this. In Hollow Knight, making a mistake can set you back a ways, same with Shovel Knight. Both of those games also have you losing currency on each death. Celeste, no such punishment. In fact, as previously mentioned, the game expects you to fail. It expects you to attempt sections of platforming over and over, and I never honestly felt like it was being unfair in doing so. So, is that it? Just a jump and dash platformer with a narrative? Well, yeah, but that's not a bad thing. Each area is different in art and music, but they also add their own mechanic into the mix. There are also 2 boss fights spread out over the course of the game, and I say that in air quotes because well, when you get to them, you'll see. Boss fights is not maybe the best way to describe it, but it's the only way. Anyway, I won't spoil all those experiences by going over all of them, but I can tell you that by the end of the game's story journey, you'll be navigating stages with all previous mechanics combined. So I've mentioned it many times in this video already, but Celeste is a challenge, and if you think that the first run is a challenge, then wait till you get to the B-sides. Found throughout each area is a cassette tape that usually takes a bit of tricky platforming to get to. Once obtained, this will unlock the B-side for that area. Now, these B-sides are not for the easily discouraged, and I think it's brilliant design to give players an optional challenge, but not force it through the main story. The main story, game, climb, whatever you want to call it, is challenging enough. I don't remember the exact count since I've played my main save since beating the game, but I believe I perished somewhere over 2,000 times in trying to beat it. If that seems like a lot, remember though how quickly each frame resets after each mistake. After beating the main game, I attempted the B-sides and, well, despite being significantly better at the game than when I started, I still perished frequently in the early rounds. These stages are a real challenge. Celeste says, "Good, you've climbed my mountain, and if that's all you set out to do, then best wishes. But now, try mastering each area." In this footage, I'm attempting the B-side of the city. Right before I recorded this footage, I went and did the last section of the very last area in the main game as a bit of a warm-up, and you can see that I still struggle. The B-sides may be a challenge, but Celeste has a few more things up its sleeve for the most exceptional of all gamers. I won't spoil these secrets for you because if you play the game, you'll discover at least one of them. Just know that there are harder challenges beyond the B-sides of each stage. Celeste was the first indie game I got into before Hollow Knight, Shovel Knight, Salt and Sanctuary, etc. It was a free game with Xbox Live Gold, and whenever a game comes across there for free, I go to the listing in the store to watch the video and get a kind of quick glimpse as to what it is. When I saw that it was a platformer, now remember I hadn't played a platformer in many years, I decided that I'd give it a shot. But the real reason it caught my attention to begin with is because of the music. Long before Celeste was listed as a free game with gold, I had made a Spotify playlist of peaceful and relaxing piano music to listen to at work, because we all know you need some peaceful and relaxing music to listen to at work. When creating said playlist, I relied heavily on the suggested songs Spotify was feeding me. One such song was My Dearest Friends by Lena Raine. Hopefully I pronounced that right, from the Celeste original soundtrack. If you've ever seen the album cover, it's a stylized drawing of Madeline holding a cassette tape with the Celeste logo. Knowing absolutely nothing of Celeste at the time, I assumed it was something out of an anime. Now fast forward to seeing it as a game with gold, recognizing the logo, and then deciding to download it. So what's my point with all of this? The music is fantastic. Even in just the first little bit you can see with this gameplay footage, it is inspiring and charming. First Steps, which is the track title for the first area, has a nice briskly ascending motif, a synth lead melody, all these things that made 8-bit Game Boy game soundtracks memorable, but with a little modern production quality flair. Resurrections, the track you hear during this portion of footage, is equally charming, but in a more mysterious sense of wonder sort of way. And really, the music over the course of the entire game is noteworthy. It always complements the scene and the stage perfectly. If you are a console gamer like myself, may I suggest that instead of using the TV speakers, maybe play this game with double-eared headphones or a headset. The music is that good. Buy, try, or avoid? That's the real question, isn't it? And I think it's fairly obvious that this is a buy. Between the powerful narrative that seeks to not only help Madeline, but also the player, the challenging gameplay, exceptional level design, and fantastic soundtrack, Celeste is the complete package. It is $19.99, I believe, across all platforms, which seems to be a common low price for indie games. You honestly really can't beat $20 for several hours of entertainment, and Celeste will keep you entertained for many hours. Or as my friend Arched Beetle would more than likely say, keep you beating your head against the wall at the challenging platforming for many hours. But then again, that's Beetle for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like Celeste, are interested in Celeste, or Celeste maybe helped you through some tough times, let me know in the comment section down below. Furthermore, if you have an Xbox game you'd like to see in this series, mention that in the comments as well. Oh, and let's do this too. If you made it this far, leave a comment of a quote or some sort of sentence you'd like me to say in this deep voice. Nothing vulgar, nothing gross. I will, it's my discretion, so I may or may not say your sentence depending on what it is. Also, if you would like to join a more in-depth discussion, be sure to join our community of gamers who love talking all things geek. Check the link in the description box for Wisdom for Wizards Discord. Well, take care all. Peace.